television this Sunday. Channel 9 will be carrying the 77th annual. Kickoff is 5:30. Coverage begins at 4 o'clock now. You spent some time in Regina.
Yes, I did. I spent a year in Regina.
Are you a Rider fan?
Well, see, I used to be, and sort of still am, a Bomber fan. But they're not in it this year. My dad used to take me to Taylor Field to see the Bombers play the Riders. So I was never a Rider fan, but having spent a year there, I think like you sort of catch the spirit, so to
it's just
speak.
osmosis, I guess.
Yeah, I think so.
Can't avoid it.
So I hope they do it. They deserve it. It's been a long time.
The ball in, 6-yard run, and that really got the fans going crazy. A lot of them up there as Catholic Central's in front, 14-7. After that, Holy Name's last play of the game, one last chance to try and tie it up, but they come up a little short. Pretty good football game, as you can see. A lot of fun as Catholic Central wins the Arnott Conference Championship.
Presentation of CBC Sports. Today on Sports Weekend, Toronto's the place to be for Grey Cup Saturday as the nationwide party goes full tilt in a celebration of fun and pageantry. Get ready for the biggest bash the country's ever seen. Toronto sizzles as a football hotbed and plays host to the Grey Cup hotheads. Last year,
hello everyone and welcome to a special Grey Cup Saturday here on Sports Weekend as we join in the fun and festivities from the streets of Toronto with our live coverage of this year's Grey Cup Parade with hosts Ernie Afghaniis and Colleen Jones, and with reports direct from Skydome with Brian Williams. As well, we'll return to Toronto's Royal Winter Fair for more World Cup qualifying equestrian action later in the show, plus our Husky ski review. Of course, this Grey Cup Saturday is in preparation for tomorrow's big game when the Hamilton Tiger Cats meet the Saskatchewan Roughriders under the dome in the 77th Championship. Our broadcast of the Grey Cup on CBC begins at 4 o'clock Eastern with our pregame show, ensuring we're warmed up for kickoff coverage at 5:30 Eastern. Right now, we're going to check in with Ernie Afghaniis and Colleen Jones at the site of this year's Grey Cup Parade.
You can see the excitement here in the marshalling area. This year we have floats from all across the country once again. Colleen, it's exciting.
As a matter of fact, Ernie, the theme for this year's Grey Cup Parade is a celebration of Canada, and there are over 80 floats and bands and majorette groups and clowns from all across the country. We're in for quite a day.
We are, and this year once again we're working with Wayne Rostad. And by the way, where is Wayne?
Well, you know, he said he was going to go get something to eat, but it seems like a funny time to go get something to eat. I don't know. Would he be eating now?
All right.
Oh, you blew my wiener away.
Oh.
Ernie, I'm down here. I'm down here with the flame. This is amazing. Whoa, I'm roasting hot dogs. Listen, I'll be with you in a minute. Hot dogs and parades.
All right.
Can we do that again?
Sure.
Whoa, do that once more.
I don't believe that's the first wiener I've ever seen go into orbit.
And his one weenie roast, I don't want to be involved in either.
No, Brian Williams is standing by at the Skydome right now.
Thank you, Ernie. Hi, everyone. We are live in the Skydome tomorrow afternoon, Hamilton and Saskatchewan. The last time these teams met was 1972 in Hamilton. Ticats winning 13-10. Today we'll talk with the starting quarterbacks from that game, Chuck Ely and Ron Lancaster. Scott Oak is here. He will visit with many of the players from both teams. And we'll have some interesting features. Ken will be here for the next 4.5 hours live from the Skydome as we set the tone for Grey Cup 89. Right now, back to you at Sports Weekend Control.
Thank you, Brian. And in just a couple of minutes, we'll return to Ernie and Colleen for all the sights and sounds of the annual Grey Cup Parade as the national celebration winds its way through downtown Toronto. But before we do that, let's take a look at last night's NHL action as last place Detroit played host to the struggling Calgary Flames. We pick up the action from Joe Louis Arena in the first period of play. As we go to Detroit, the Wings ahead 1-0, but the Flames in the power play. Al McInnes' long shot beats Saint Laurent, knotted at 1, stays that way until 1:36 left in the third. This is Theoren Fleury tearing up the wing, moves in and beats Saint Laurent to put the Flames in what should have been good shape with a 2-1 lead late in the game. But the Red Wings aren't dead yet as Al McInnes, Al, what are you doing? Serves it up to Steve Yzerman. That ties the game at 2, and then with only 38 seconds left in regulation time, Gerard Gallant will get his 9th of the season. The slap shot, handcuffing Vernon. The Red Wings win a thriller at home, a 3-2 final for Detroit, leaving the Flames winless in their last 8, their longest losing streak in 4 years. Yesterday afternoon at the Spectrum, Flyers versus the Oilers, 32 seconds into the third, Murray Craven scores. 9th of the season, makes it 2-0 Philly. Craven's goal proved to be the winner as the Flyers went on to a 5-1 victory over the Oilers. Philly 1 game over 500 minus Brian Propp and Tim Kerr. At Minnesota, North Stars beat New Jersey. North Stars now first in the North, one ahead of Chicago. Mini practically flawless at the Met Center, 12-1-0, and at the Cap Center, Penguins win 7-4. Mario Lemieux scoring on a penalty shot. He's a perfect 5 for 5 in that department. Pittsburgh outshot 50-22, so that tells you how well Wendell Young played for Pittsburgh. Tonight, the Molson Hockey Night in Canada season continues on CBC with an Adams Division matchup between longtime rivals Montreal and Boston, available to you viewers in Atlantic Canada and Quebec. Fans in Southern Ontario will be able to see the game between the Leafs and Rangers as Roger Nielsen brings his Patrick leading squad to Maple Leaf Gardens. And those of you in Northern Ontario and Manitoba West can watch all the action when the New Jersey Devils travel to Winnipeg to go up against the Jets. Ron McLean will be by later to fill us in on what else is going on in the NHL with a report from Maple Leaf Gardens. And when we return, we'll take you live to the pageantry and high-spirited fun of the 1989 Grey Cup Parade right after this commercial break.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the 1989 Grey Cup Parade. I'm Ernie Affiganis with Colleen Jones and Wayne Rostad. And the parade is just getting underway. Colleen, looking down the University Avenue here, we can see a great crowd gathering. We're on the University of Toronto grounds. The legislative buildings are right across from us. It's a beautiful area, ideal for a parade, really.
And ideal weather so far. The forecast originally wasn't too good for today, but we've been lucky so far. Looks like the skies are going to hold, and I think everybody's going to have a good time, even the little ones.
Yeah, bundled up, but that's for the long haul. Right now, it's quite pleasant. This parade route is quite routine for Toronto and the Grey Cup. The last time a Grey Cup parade was held here was in 1982. And at that time, it was regarded to be a record crowd for a parade. That year, Edmonton played against the Toronto Argonauts following the parade, and Edmonton won that Grey Cup 32-16. This time, of course, it's the Riders who are ready to go against the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and that game goes tomorrow. And a reminder here, a quick reminder, that CBC's countdown to the Grey Cup begins at 4 o'clock, and Brian Williams will be your host there. And there is the leading group.
The Metro Toronto Police Mounted Union. Unit Commander is Inspector Bob Heenan.
They've always been escorts for visiting dignitaries and royalty, and they always appear at the opening of the legislature in Ontario.
And they're wearing their beautiful traditional winter dress uniforms, including the capes and the fur hats. They appear in so many parades throughout the year, too. They're very visible.
Very calm and collected, aren't they? Now you can see all the fans here, and those who are enjoying Grey Cup festivities are bundled up. They're expecting to get the bad weather sometime today, but it's been holding off very well.
And fans from Kenwood, Saskatchewan, I might add that there are so many Rider fans. They had to book extra flights in from Saskatchewan to accommodate all the very excited Rider fans who are hoping their team wins their first Grey Cup since 1966.
They've been having a great time for the past 5 days here, and they keep filtering in. They'll be having an awful lot of fun tomorrow at that Sky Dome. Legislative buildings in the background. Beautiful.
Beautiful old building, and here on the University of Toronto campus, so many beautiful old buildings as we take another look at the Metro Toronto Police Mounted Unit.
Now, throughout this afternoon, as the time we're going to be here on this parade route, you'll be able to hear those Saskatchewan fans in the background yelling, yeah, go Riders, go. Normie Kwong is the special man here. He is, well, he's been with the Calgary Stampeders, as you know, in the Edmonton Eskimos, 4-time Shenley winner, as a Cup Canadian, 4-time Grey Cup winner, 3 with Edmonton, 1 with Calgary, and he's the honorary gentleman, as they call him, for the parade, the honorary parade marshal. And Normie with his wife enjoying themselves. Wayne?
Here's a man, Ernie, that, you know, as a halfback, the China Clipper, you look like a very proud man today as parade marshal.
Well, Wayne, it's a lot of fun. I hope there's a lot of people waiting to see us on the way down to the end of the parade.
Calgary not in it this year. How do you feel about it?
Well, Calgary made an awful determined rush to try and get there. We ended up second place. Unfortunately, Saskatchewan beat us, and they'll be a good representative of the West.
All right, who's winning it?
Saskatchewan by at least a touchdown.
At least a touchdown. I should have known this. And then I'm going to his place for Chinese food after I'm home. Thanks very much, Normie. Enjoy it. Nice to see you, Mrs. Quam. Back to you, Ernie.
Okay, Wayne, and you can bet that Normie will be a great host.
He's keeping his Western loyalties, too.
The Metro Celebrity Float. The chairman, of course, is Alan Tonks. Special police band with them. You can see the plaques on the side of this float. Jeff Biggs, along with Larry Kendall from the Toronto Junior Board of Trade. Metro Police ambassadors are there. Bruce Sinclair and the mayor of East York, Mayor Johnson, is also on that float.
The band, by the way, has been together for 14 years. They entertain at a lot of community events, and
there is a short hill just about a half a mile back, and apparently they had some problems, Colleen, getting this one up the hill, so all the celebrities got out and pushed it up, so they're in shape. The Top Hat Marching Band. All dressed in black, red bow ties and white shirts and top hats. Marching director is Bob Webb, and the drum major is Neil Sinclair. The Hamilton Tiger Cat cheerleaders are right around there too, having some fun. Good sound. The turtle, Domer, your friend.
My friend, that's right. He's a great guy, isn't he? The mascot at the Sky Dome. Domer the turtle.
You know, he took part in both the Calgary Stampede Parade this year as well as Oktoberfest, along with the Top Hat Band, so been around. You can see the logos.
And here's the big Domer the turtle float. It's a reproduction of the magnificent structure that will play host to the Grey Cup final tomorrow. You see the Sky Dome there on the back.
That will be the great landmark of Toronto, the Sky Dome and the tower in the background. They're going all over the world.
Well, it's a magnificent structure. As you drive into the city, it's so obvious.
And the corps of clowns. Wayne?
Boy, I'm telling you, this is a wonderful bunch of people. Warm hearts out here. Listen, I just wonder, what does it take to be a clown? Okay. Tell me.
To be a clown, you require a big smile. You also require a big heart and a big belly. And most of all, you must think like a clown. And when you think like a clown, you'll become a clown.
Well, that's very good.
That's very much.
Okay, well, I'll keep thinking about it. Thanks. See ya. Well, thank you. Well, that's the spirit of clownhood.
I think you should keep marching with them, Ernie.
You know, this troop has won awards all over the world, practically. The Crowns Carnival, and they take part in all kinds of festivities in Toronto and play for the poor and the homeless. They do a wonderful job.
The Royal Air's Drum Corps, drum and bugle band, 50 strong. They're under the direction of Ron Robson. Let's take a listen to them.
Ontario.
And of course, Ernie, as a former bugle player, this is very near and dear to your heart.
Yes. Drum and bugle it's my thing.
A very well-known face in the crowd today. I thought he was still in the Soviet Union, but...
And the chef.
And the city of Winnipeg is well represented today. Magnificent float. It's 50 feet long, and the theme of it is Canada's Mosaic. Of course, they wish they had their Winnipeg Blue Bombers here to cheer on. They lost to the Ticats in the Eastern Final. Grey Cup winners last year.
You know, Colleen, this is their 21st consecutive participation in the Grey Cup Parade, the city of Winnipeg. Riding on the float is Winnipeg's Councillor Marcel Landereau. Beautiful float, very colorful, no question about that. The city of Winnipeg. And we will return with more of the 1989 Grey Cup Parade right after this.
You don't get many second chances in this world, but you do with the new Winter Surprise Instant Lottery. 2 chances to win instantly. Winter Surprise is your chance for a second chance.
This holiday season, you could give someone another shirt and tie and $5 million so they'll never have to wear them again. The Celebration 90 lottery ticket with over $32 million in cash and prizes. It's the ultimate Christmas gift.
Kentucky Fried Chicken presents A Christmas Puzzle. Our 12-piece Econo Box, fries and salad, or 20-piece barrel and 2 salads. The Christmas Shopper Specials serve 4 to 7 Lords a Leaping for less than $3.85 each. Seasoned greetings from Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Welcome back to the Grey Cup Parade live on CBC Sports Weekend. I'm Colleen Jones along with Ernie Afaganis. And this is the Air Cadets Band from Lake Shore.
25 members of that band, drum and bugle, and 18 members are in the drill team. The 690 squadron comes from the Montreal Lake Shore, as you pointed out, and they've been around too. Only Air Cadet band in last year's Grey Cup Parade. Last October, they officiated in the welcome home ceremonies for Canada's Olympians, including gold medalist Carolyn Waldo. And Carolyn Waldo is one of the parade judges, along with Vicki Keith and Reverend Robert Rumble. And all those winners will be announced following the parade this year.
That's right. They'll be judging the best floats, the best band, the best majorettes, and so on.
A mutual group. It's a cozy little group here, isn't it? They're just saying hi, Stacy.
Miss Yellowknife, she's come a long way.
Yeah. Miss Yellowknife. Melanie is her name. This mutual group is a 35-foot float whose name is, well, Let's All Be Friends, Facing Tomorrow Together. An animated dog and turtle with rabbits and raccoons. The youngsters love this one. We're first in this year's Oktoberfest and St. Catherine's Wine Fest parades.
Biggest dog I've ever seen. It's a very beautiful float, the way all the little animals move.
It's an unusual position, isn't it? Interesting shot. That tail's not wagging right now. You can see the movement in the smaller animals. There, oh, there it is. Okay. A little kiss for the turtle. Hear the sound effects in the background?
Well, that'll be a big favorite for the kids.
Yeah. Let's all be friends facing tomorrow together. You were able to pick up those sound effects.
The McCausham van lines, it's a beautiful horse-drawn wagon.
This is the original, by the way.
That's right.
1913. It was used in Edmonton when McCausham Van Lines began its operation.
And they were in last year's Grey Cup Parade up in Ottawa, and they were also in the Calgary Stampede and Klondike Day Parade.
Les Wild is on that float. He's the Toronto manager of McCausham. He's been with the company for about 25 years. The Nova Scotia Ultra Star Majorettes, 40 of them.
This is Tanya Lee, too. She and her 3 sisters are here performing with the Majorette group.
They participated in the '88 Grey Cup in Ottawa and are recent winners of first for the Maritimes and for the 3rd consecutive year at the Gold Cup and Saucer Parade at Charlottetown.
Yes, and the kids all raise their own money to come to events like this. We were talking to them before the parade, and they were so excited to be taking part.
They're all 12 and over, right?
That's right. They've participated in just hundreds of parades. I know I've seen them a lot down in Nova Scotia at some of the different parades throughout the summer. They're under the direction of Kim Jollymore.
Well, they have 12 dance twirlers and 12 hoop twirlers and 12 pom-pom girls. They all have a role to play in the twirlers. Cute smile.
And the 2 girls up at the front now are sisters Kim and Joanne Lee.
They're advanced twirlers, aren't they?
They look advanced to me. I couldn't do that.
Admiral Mountbatten Sea Cadet Corps Band.
They're 100 strong, and they're under the direction of Harvey Prudhomme. And they're wearing their Royal Canadian Sea Cadet uniforms.
They're sponsored by the Navy League of Canada and the National Defense Department.
They've won several national and provincial awards. They're very good. They were also the #1 drill team for Ontario this past year.
And they also played in Ramsay, England, the home of Lord Mountbatten. Good training. Sea Cadets provide great training for young people.
Sure does.
Yeah. I was a member of that group in my youth myself. These cadets attend training of all aspects of sailing, seamanship, citizenship, and leadership programs. And the cannon, we saw that earlier, and it was all polished and spiffy, and we thought, is that a real cannon or a model? What do you think?
We couldn't tell the difference.
We couldn't tell the difference.
We just hoped it wasn't loaded.
days when we were youngsters, the drummers always had the toughest time because that drum would bounce up and down on the thigh and the knee, and you'd come in black and blue.
Well, did you do many parades when you were a kid playing the bugle?
Many parades, yes. It was fun, actually.
I bet.
Yes. You know, when you're walking 2-3 miles, under the constant pressure of making sure you keep the beat and hold it, and that you don't get ahead in the marching, by the time you're finished, it's exhausting, and you just want to lay down and rest for a while. Even at that age, you get tired.
Yeah, I bet.
They work hard, and I sympathize with them. And on a bad day, it just magnifies everything. But today, it's quite pleasant.
That's right. Yeah. Of course, you're looking at a person who's always had a hard time doing two things at once. So.
Okay.
All the way from the city of St. John, New Brunswick.
Perpetual motion machine. And it includes 2 large exterior speakers, so you'll hear all kinds of sounds. But once this starts, it never stops.
That's right. It's really quite a neat float. The way the little figures on it keep working those machines all the time. It's very well done.
St. John, if some of you remember, played host to the 1985 Canada Summer Games. Did a very, very good job, as did Saskatoon in August when they handled the Summer Games, and they were carried on CBC. Quite a proud city, and rightly so. Everything is moving there, right? Can you figure that one out? Anything. Everything is just a phone call away.
I think the mayor of St. John, Elsie Way, calls her town the best little city in the East. She's dubbed it.
Not so small, though. Very pleasant. Now you can see in the background there's absolutely none of the snow left from a previous mini storm. Toronto is clear and very, very comfortable today. All enjoying the 1985 Grey Cup Parade.
Someone to look up to, be it Big Brother. This is an interesting float, an old-time fire engine.
Right across Canada, thousands of Big Brothers friendships providing an important influence of the lives of the boys from father-absent homes. It's not a charity, it's just a very fine relationship that's being formed there. Wayne?
Well, we're sitting down here now with Blinky, a talking car, moving eyes, the whole business here. Blinky, tell me something. Oh, pretty lashes. Tell me something. How do you like Toronto streets so far?
Well, did you know why my name is Blinky? It's Blinky because if you look at my eyes...
That's fabulous. Tell me something, Blinky. Can you give me a lift home after? I need a lift. Are you free after work?
What do you mean, buddy? You take the subway like everybody else.
Subway. Back
What's
to
that?
you, Ernie.
Okay.
Subway.
Subway, what's that? All right. Well, Metro Toronto Police have been using the talking car for over 25 years and helping to teach and entertain the children of Toronto and make them conscious of safety measures. We'll be back with more of the 1989 Grey Cup Parade right after this. Welcome back to the CBC's live coverage of the 1989 Grey Cup Parade. And that is the Calgary Stampede Group. And the familiar float with a huge saddle. They alter it slightly every year, but it's been all over the place and winning awards doing so.
It certainly has, Ernie. This one certainly makes you want to get up and dance, doesn't it? And Wayne is down dancing now. Wayne, what's going on?
Oh, just having a little bit of fun here with some of the gals from Calgary. You know, everything is big out west. They say the horses are bigger, the cowboys. Look at the size of this saddle. That's something else. We got music. I may be gone to the west.
Well, Wayne is having a great time down there on the street, keeping us posted on everything that's happening down there. It's a great float. Huge saddle, huge Stetson on the back.
But you know, that Stetson last year did not have part of the skyline in the lower end of it. As you see there now, their tower, of course, and some of the buildings that are characterized there. But now it's really a full landing there. And next year they intend to add quite a few more buildings on that.
And Calgary's been hosting Grey Cup breakfasts all week. Very traditional of them, of course. Stampeders lost out to the Roughriders, of course, in the Western semi.
Yeah, they have a ball, don't they? Chuck wagon races, of course, are very popular in Alberta. Red Deer and Calgary host them quite often, and boy, they're wild. And of course, everyone likes to go on a hayride, don't they? Pipes and drums of Dofasco. Canada's largest integrated steel producer uses this band as a recreation program and sponsors it for all sorts of parades and outings. Presents a wonderful image for that company. They were formed in 1938. Pipes and drums wear the Gordon tartan in honor of Major Huntley Gordon, a former Dofasco vice president. They're under the direction of drum major Jim Fitzgerald and pipe major Bill Green. Very colorful. I always remember, Colleen, when we were in Edinburgh, Scotland, and we watched them perform there at the castle, and incredible sound, great feeling. There's a veteran.
The group's been performing now for 51 years. That's a long time.
You bet. Nobody plays a snare like a Scottish drummer, or a pipe band drummer, I should say.
This is the Molson Carling antique delivery truck.
What a beautiful machine.
1928, I believe.
Reclaimed and refurbished. Runs as good as a modern day truck. Certainly now a collector's item for the company. The Progress Yorkettes Baton Club, 20 of them, under the leadership of Debbie Greenfield, and they're from Richmond Hill, Ontario.
And they have come prepared, complete with earmuffs.
Their age groups are, well, between 14 and 20. The youngsters moving up, and of course the veterans at around 17, 18 are teaching the youngsters how to do everything properly. And of course, we have the Rider fan. That's Rider Pride. He's building to a peak for tomorrow, I think.
The John Kernahan Memorial Accordion Band, 35 strong, and they're under the direction of bandmaster Ian Kernahan. Let's listen to their music for a while.
That's a unique group there, Colleen, an accordion band, and they were in the '88 Grey Cup Parade and did very well.
That's right, they started back in 1975, and they're very much a tradition in the Kernahan family dating back to Ireland.
Well, Regina says, take a good look, a celebration of Canada. The revolving panels display the many world-class events held annually in Regina. Pardon me, my mop's not working too good at the moment. Of course, Regina is the home of the Mounties, the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and what they call the new multi-million-dollar Saskatchewan Science Center. They're very proud of that. And on the float, Regina Buffalo Days mascot Pemmican Pete, and the Saskatchewan Roughrider mascot Gaynor the Gopher should be along any moment here, along with the dignitaries.
They are very proud of their football team. If you walk down any street in Toronto, you see a lot of Saskatchewan fans. They're all wearing green and white.
Okay, the city of Regina, and we'll be back to the city of Toronto for more of the 1989 Grey Cup parade right after this. Welcome back, live to Toronto for the 1989 Grey Cup Parade. The Cadet Bands of Scarborough, 60 members strong. Colleen, we've had the pleasure of watching some great bands today. Even the youngsters are in good form.
They are in great form. When we were walking the parade route earlier today, they were all out practicing and ready for a great time. They're very, very talented. This particular entry is made up of cadets from 3 cadet corps from the city of Scarborough. Both male and female from ages 13 and 15. And of course, they are wearing the uniforms of all the usual military elements.
The theme of this entry is the youth of Canada. And what a better way to celebrate Canada than with young Canadians from the city of Scarborough, the city of the future, they say. 60 members, but 40 members make up the color party and guard carrying all the provincial and territorial flags. That's the band itself. Their ages range from 13 to 15. Some look more mature than that. Those are the ages they stay within. This combined unit was assembled in late August of '89, specifically for participation in this Grey Cup parade. They sound quite professional, don't they?
They are very good, and I think they're only 15 years old.
Yes.
They must practice a lot.
Oh, yes.
Did you mind the practicing?
What practice?
When you played the bugle. Oh, what?
You practice as long as your lip held out. There they go. This is the War Amputees float of Canada. It's called the Place Safe float. 8-foot replica of ASTAR, the association's gold robotic safety symbol, stands at the rear of the float. This year, of course, the float is without great personality, Carl Hilsinger, who passed away earlier this year and is sorely missed. What a great gentleman. Robotics, the future. This represents the environment on planet Danger, which is ASTAR's home. It's a 3-dimensional robot which rotates to face both sides of the parade route. There are fragments of wire out there, quite intimidating at times, but also quite beautiful.
Regina Police Service, we have more pipes and drums now. The pipes are beautiful in wide open space like this, aren't they?
They sure are. They're performing at some of the hotels this evening, sort of keying the Regina fans and Rough Rider fans to make sure that they don't let up before the game tomorrow and during the game. No one will be allowed to rest until approximately 9 o'clock after the game.
This is the 65 Roses Sports Club. 1928 truck. They're wearing kind of hillbilly dress. We've got Daryl and Daryl there.
Daryl and his other brother Daryl, and there's our brother Wayne. Wayne, what's happening?
All the singers, holy smoke! I have never gathered with a group of hillbillies in my life. You guys actually sing? Come on over here. Let me hear you do a little sing song. I'll sing with you. All right. With Grey Cup spirit, let's hear. How about that Cotton Fields Back Home?
When I was a little bitty baby, my mama would rock me in the cradle in them old cotton fields back home.
Ernie, join in with us. Join in. Thanks,
I can't compete with that.
That's great. That's great. Thanks, boys.
Wayne Rostad with the 65 Roses Sports Club. All hillbillies, they say. But you know, they raised $72,000 for the Canadian Cystic Fibrosis Foundation this year in Ottawa. And in total, they raised close to $250,000. So they do their job. Is that Rudy Veltri? He's riding Jingles Jr., the great stallion. You know Rudy.
Take a look at that saddle, Ernie.
Yeah, isn't that beautiful?
Is that a saddle or is that a saddle?
It's a sorrel color. A sterling silver saddle net, supposed to be worth about $90,000. It's embroidered in white, 18-karat gold, and the saddle was made and carved in 1926 in Seattle, Washington. Now, this is Jingle Jr.'s first parade. Pretty calm, I would say. Horseman Rudy has taken part in very many parades himself, and he knows exactly what to do and how to make the horse react. Now, what's this? Queen's Band in the background.
All the way from Kingston, Ontario.
120 members of this pipe band under the direction of Todd Blackburn, and they're from Kingston, Ontario. That was the mascot Boo Boo just up ahead, by the way.
They're co-ed cheerleaders, Highland dancers, full color party. They're wearing the Royal Stuart tartan kilt.
Do some neat tricks. Co-ed cheerleaders, Highland dancers.
They participated in the Cotton Bowl Parade down in Dallas and also the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade and last year's Grey Cup Parade, too. They're veterans.
Is that a Hamilton fan, or is it not? And the Tiger Cat himself? And the Canadian Football Hall of Fame in the background, just in behind the Queen's Band and all their cheerleaders and dancers.
Now, how would you like to walk the entire parade route with somebody on your shoulders?
Yeah, that's a very good point you make.
And they're all smiling, too. Now, that would be hard.
Ooh, are they going to jump off? No, maybe not. Now they single out. They've decided that they weren't going to hold hands. That makes it even more difficult to balance. Those young men should be commended. Oh, those cats in the background. Remember, the Canadian Football Hall of Fame is in Hamilton. They're very, very proud of that, and they think that they're going to add another Grey Cup to the city of Hamilton and into the Hall of Fame because they're all listed there along with many other interesting items.
Well, this is what, the Tiger Cats' 5th appearance in the Grey Cup final in the last decade?
In the last decade, right. And you can see Wayne right up there with all of them. And you see on the right side there, that's Anzie. Big Angela Mosca. Wayne, what are you doing there, my boy?
Well, this is the real McCoy. And it isn't just Angie Mosca and Tony Gabriel and Tony Everson that can touch it. I can... Listen, do you make as much money playing football as you do wrestling, Angie?
I had a lot of fun playing football, Wayne. But this is what it's all about. This brings this national unity right back. And it's great to see you once again, a great country western star.
Good seeing you. Listen,
good to see you, Wayne.
When you're commissioner of the league, will you still call me Wayne?
You better believe you can still call me Angelo.
Thank you. Back to you.
Wayne, you asked him the right question. He would love to be the commissioner of the CFL. And you know what? It wouldn't be a bad choice. He would certainly add a lot of fun and color and humor and public relations to the job, and he would take it seriously. No question about that. Great football player who played his last Grey Cup game in '72. That's when Hamilton won. Indeed.
The Hamilton Firefighter Drum Corps. Drum and Bugle Band under the direction of Donald Bull.
They have a special practice hut at Mount Hope Airport in Hamilton. And apparently that joint is jumping all the time. Big brass band with a great sound.
Coast to coast across Canada and into the United States, doing different parades all over. They've won many, many awards.
Beautiful background. University Avenue here in Toronto, which is one of the more spectacular areas in the city. It houses the University of Toronto in the background, the legislative buildings. On a day like today, it's quite pleasant around here. Canada Post salute to the Grey Cup. 35-foot float, continuous swirl of letters that fan out as you can see them there. Nicely done.
It's time to mail your letters to Santa too, in case you haven't done so already.
You heard Jack Donahue's joke, didn't you, about it cost you 38 cents to mail a letter in Canada? He says that's about a half a cent a day for delivery. That's not too bad.
That's Jack's, is it?
Jack's, yeah. I stole it, Jack. At the rear there, you can see it's a revolving globe that shows the worldwide scope of Canada Post.
Jack, I do believe, is taking part in the parade, by the way.
Yes, he just passed by with the coach's float. And the Brockville Rifle Cadet Band. The 113th Brockville Rifle Army Cadet Brass Band. 40 strong.
And we're getting into the Christmas spirit now, aren't we?
Yes. An attractive deep green uniform they wear.
Rolly Evans is the instructor of the band. They were formed back in 1982.
They're a little bit older than the other bands that have participated. They go up to 19 years of age with the minimum 13.
And we have more baton twirlers, the Cornwall Majorette Corps.
30 of them, under the direction of Wendy Woods. It's been around a while, too. They were established, when, back in '69, 20 years ago?
And these cheerleaders are singing "Next Year, Argos, next year." There's always next year. That's what keeps us all going.
You bet. Well, but that's the way it should be.
Now, this is a very interesting float. A lot of work went into making Desmond the Dragon. Beautiful 60-foot-long dragon that breathes real fire and has fiery eyes. The wings fly. The tail wags. I wouldn't want to get him mad. He snorts, too. That's right. He's magnificent.
Wayne has always had fun with the dragon. He usually jumps up there and rides him. I'm not sure he's going to do it this time, though. Look at this. That's a beautiful view of Desmond. Built by the Edmonton Power volunteer employees in 1986, and once again representing the city of Edmonton. Created by more than 2,000 volunteer hours by the employees of Edmonton Power. Uh-oh. I think Wayne's crawling in the back end there. Is that him?
Come on in, Roscoe.
Oh, yes, it is.
We're just...
Wait.
Yes, sir. Listen, Ernie, we thought we would show you the incredible inner workings. All of these boys are hard at work with canisters back in here. If you just move a bit, good sir.
Oh, my goodness.
All these canisters that you see over here, that's what causes all the smoke. And there's an electrical motor. We got more bodies inside. I mean, you've heard of Jonah in the heart of the whale.
Yes.
Well, this is Wayne in the belly of Desmond.
Nicely done, Wayne.
That's how it works?
That's
you
how
mean
it works.
He really isn't blowing real fire?
No, it's Well, it catches everyone's eye. They have a lot of fun. Fire and smoke and lots of sound effects back there. Now you can see Wayne, he's trying to get out of there now in the back. They probably hold him in there for a while. Alderman Lance White is supposed to be in the background there, an alderman in Edmonton, and he came to the Grey Cup Parade as a representative of City Council.
City of Edmonton still in shock, are they, Ernie?
Well, I think they're over it now. You know, the Edmonton club is a contender every year, and they win some and they lose some, but they win more than they lose. I think they're happy about it. I know they're all pulling for Saskatchewan now, so.
Well, their great quarterback, Tracy Ham, won the Outstanding Player of the Year last night.
You bet.
He's a RoboCop, Ernie, and I don't know, I think something's landed from outer space here.
Watch the movements here. What's this? Kids love it. Lots of excitement here. 1989. Grey Cup Parade in Toronto. And we're back in just a moment.
The Grey Cup Parade live here on CBC Sports Weekend in downtown Toronto. And it's the bonhomme all the way from Quebec. Quebec Winter Carnival. This is a beautiful float. We've seen it at last year's Grey Cup Parade, and the colorful bonhomme is on top clapping and keeping the fans here that have lined the parade route very happy. He invites everyone, of course, to attend the world's biggest winter celebration, the Quebec Winter Carnival. The 36th edition of this annual event will be held in Quebec City on February 1st to the 11th, 1990. And this lively little snowman, of course, has become the symbol of it all. He's the official ambassador of the Winter Carnival. He travels the world every year to proudly describe Quebec's unique beauty and charm. He was recently in Hong Kong and Sapporo.
I got it, Don. I got it.
And hello to you, bonhomme. The Lion Rampant Accordion Band from Kitchener, Ontario. A 40-member band under the direction of Harold Cromwell.
I'm okay now. They won numerous awards. And 50 parades in a backlog, a great record there.
Now there's a little tyke, yeah. Looks about 8 years old. From Oshawa, the Kinsman Baton Corps. 25 members strong under the direction of Leanne Wilson. And she's a former Ontario, Canadian, and international twirling champion, so those are great credentials. They've competed all across Canada and the United States, and they've been in other Grey Cup parades and the Santa Claus parades.
The corps leader is Heike Hagenbrook, former Ontario twirling champion.
The corps itself was started back in 1977, and they've been going strong ever since.
The Pickering Kinsman Cadets. Now you can see the youngsters are bundling up just a little bit more. As we go on during the day, I suppose it cools off a little for the youngsters, but
they're all dressed for it. From Pickering, these are the Kinsmen and Kinettes. Of course, that's a great association. Raises money for all kinds of different charities.
You know that this is the only Canadian club that does work specifically for Canada. And Brian Thompson, the national president from Edmonton, is riding in that caboose car back there. And last year, the Kinsmen Clubs of Canada contributed over $21 million to Canadian communities. And 1990 will mark their 70th anniversary of this association's founding.
$21 million in a year. That's outstanding. They do good work.
Bet they do.
In all the different communities right across Canada.
And there they are, the Booze Brothers on a Grey Cup tour once again. They're from Richmond, BC. There's your buddies, Colleen.
My buddies. They are great. They're fun-loving guys, aren't they? They copied the original Blues Brothers, John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd, from the movie The Blues Brothers, of course.
And they're wearing red armbands, as you can see there.
In memory of their co-founder, Norm Lamb. He passed away last Christmas Eve from a very rare lung disorder.
I tell you, this is some group. Nobody has any more fun than them. And they're avid BC Lions supporters, as you know, and they die every time BC loses, but they say one of these years.
Yeah, they die, but then they live the next day to party again, don't they? You know, then they'll cheer for whoever beat out BC.
They were founded in '81 and took part in all Grey Cup parades since '81 in Montreal. There they are.
And I think this is the Booze Brothers Shuffle.
All dressed alike.
And the group seems to get larger every year, too. From Brockville, this is the Riverfest Float, an antique paddle wheel boat.
Brockville invites you to take a family festival trip along the St. Lawrence River shores at the Eastern Gateway to the 1,000 Islands. We saw this earlier, this float, and we commented how neatly it is made, and it's quite impressive.
Looks very real, doesn't it?
Yeah. Good quality. Yes, that's a replica of a boat that you can enjoy traveling in at Brockville. Why not, I've always said. Oh, look at this, a hovercraft. And Miss Grey Cup, actually today their title is really Miss Grey Cup Ambassador, and that is Juliana Mohammed, Miss Hamilton Tiger Cat, and she won that honor yesterday. And Juliana is just, well, 22 years old.
She won it, I might add, on her basis of football knowledge.
And we'll be back with more of the 1989 Grey Cup Parade live from Toronto in just a moment.
Hovercraft of all things.
Catherine Horton. This hovercraft is being promoted as a safety device and also a rescue device. Miss BC Line is Catherine Horton. And of course, we have Miss Saskatchewan Roughrider Deborah Jones there too, along with all the other Miss Grey Cup or Miss Grey Cup Ambassador or CFL Ambassador.
Now we have a giant compact disc, 99.9 CKFM. Now, how would you like to get that inside your compact disc player?
They were really living it up before the parade got underway. They had it going full blast along the outer ridges of University.
To get through, is that right?
A lot of fun, actually. One more hovercraft. As all the contestants are there. Kitchener-Waterloo Oktoberfest mascots, Uncle Hans and Frida. It's a large float, 23 feet. And the mascots represent the annual Oktoberfest celebrations held in Kitchener-Waterloo.
I think those are the biggest mascots I've ever seen.
They're pretty well isolated at this point. They're so large that they give them some space.
And they, of course, welcome everyone to beautiful Kitchener.
You see how large they are. That driver on the left-hand side and the right, you can see they almost look like miniatures.
Yes, you're right, they do. Miniature people.
It's not easy to steer those, actually. There's some resistance to the wind, and you can see that they sort of wander a little from side to side, and it creates an imbalance. Don Brown has that same problem when he's out on the ocean with his sailboat out of Vancouver. Now you can see the lean on the right to get it back on track.
Well, so long as they're firmly anchored and don't take off into the air.
Yes.
They're very cute. Lots of balloons, lots of fun here at this 1989 Grey Cup Parade. Hello to you, too.
They're leading the spirit of Marc Garneau. And in the background, you can see these school colors of 30 to 50 youngsters in a majorette group under the direction of their student leader, Tara Nichols.
Marc Garneau Collegiate Institute is here in Toronto. There's no other group quite like it anywhere, they say.
They began practicing in September of this year, and this is their first event outside of school.
They're part cheerleaders, part dance group, part majorette, part flag party. They're a little bit of everything. And of course, this coming winter in 1990, Sault Ste. Marie is the place to be for the Labatt Brier.
You will be there, of course, along with Don Whitman and Don Duguid, enjoying the Brier and bringing it to us live from Sault Ste. Marie. Should be a good one. We were told, remember earlier today, that it's practically a sellout.
That's right. They've only got 60 tickets left for the event, and of course, he looks like a great curler on the top, the Moose.
We had word that possibly Pat Ryan would be on that float. He's now living in the Okanagan, but we were looking for him and couldn't find him. He may show up.
Pat Ryan, of course, is the defending Labatt Brier champion and world champion. Great curler. It should be a wonderful event in Sault Ste. Marie. Of course, last year's event was in Saskatoon. And
yes, did a great
people
job.
in Saskatchewan did a great, great job. They've got the spirit for everything, be it curling, be it football, you name it. They love their sports.
Well, when you get back there in Saskatoon with people like Bill Hunter and Al Hunter and active people, you get things done.
That's right. The Tim Hortons Kiwanis Cavaliers.
It's a drum corps, 65 members, and they're directed by Kitchener's Doug Darwin. This is an age group from 12 to 21, A-class championship group.
They also performed in Disney World, and they were down for a week-long tour in Myrtle Beach in North Carolina.
Nice.
This is the Argonaut Rowing Club, and what a great history they have. They're 117 years old, and as a matter of fact, I was talking to them earlier, and they started the original Argonaut football team back in the late 1800s, and that's why to this very day, the Argos are still referred to as the Boatmen.
We should point out, though, for the first year since the inception, the Argonauts are no longer the Argonauts, but the Argos.
On the float today is a wonderful gentleman. His name is Steve Sandorn. He's on the float. He's 68 years old, and he competed for Hungary in the 1952 Olympic Games, and he was the Hungarian champion 18 times. He's also been a 3 times Canadian Masters champ.
This float, Colleen, depicts the mixed coxed oars. Now, it was a model that they just built for the parade, but they were thinking at one time of building an actual workable boat or scull, or they didn't decide what model they would build. But they decided to go this way.
The Ottawa Heart Institute tackles fitness.
This one took part in the 1988 Grey Cup parade, along with Wayne. He's standing there, and I think he's just building some information for us. Wayne, well, what do you hear?
Well, I'm just talking with Ross Jackson. Of course, no doubt your heart's in good shape after all those years of good sport.
Well, I hope so. I would think that it would be, and I still do a lot of exercise and play a lot of squash, so it's kind of fun, and it's kind of nice to be out here representing the Heart Institute.
And of course, you're going to be one of the biggest moral supporters in our quest for funds at the end of March.
Well, I would hope so. It's going to be a big event, and certainly we hope that all the people get behind the fundraising activities in the spring.
Well, Ottawa, get ready. There's going to be a tremendous heartfelt raising of funds coming up March the 31st. Tell me, your heart still in football, Russ?
Oh, yeah. My big heart's still there, and I'm looking forward to the game tomorrow.
Back to you, Ernie.
Okay, Wayne, he looks pretty good. What a great quarterback he was, a great athlete, multiple Shinley winner. He is some guy. You're going to have a chance to vote for him if you're watching CBC television as one of the top players in the CFL. You'll get more action on that. We'll be back in just a moment. To Toronto and the 1989 Grey Cup Parade live on CBC television. Colleen,
what a great parade it's been so far. Lots of fun, lots of color, terrific floats too.
And the weather is held up.
That's right.
Bundled up. Not that necessary, but very comfortable here. Isn't that a sweet look?
Of course, the weather is one thing we no longer have to worry about at this year's Grey Cup anyhow. With
You bet.
Under the wonderful dome.
Many of these people who have come from the west and parts of the east have never been in the Sky Dome before, and when they get there tomorrow, they're in for a great treat. It's a state-of-the-art building, comfortable, all the amenities, and there's a Rider fan that'll be there, you can bet, and they'll be whooping it up.
Looks like Mama Bear and the rabbit is wrestling with the Rider fan, something you don't see very often.
Well, we have a Rider boxer and also a Hamilton boxer in the background. Of course, they're depicting the rivalry between the two clubs tomorrow.
Well, the province of Saskatchewan is very well represented at this year's parade.
Do you remember that fella, the Flame? He performs at all Saskatchewan games. Every touchdown that is scored, he blows his head off with one of these rockets, and he has become quite famous in the area. And as Wayne Rostad found out a little earlier, is not bad for roasting hot dogs. If you don't get them too close, they'll blow them apart.
Wayne will try just about anything, won't he?
Yeah, he will, too. There's a little huddle there. Some Argos I can see. A little late for the game.
Wrong way, Captain!
Pick up the wrong way captain of the Argos, he says. A little entertainment to fill between some of the floats here as some of them catch up. We watch as the performers stop in the odd position and entertain some of the youngsters.
Well, that's what it's all about, isn't it?
You bet.
Here it comes. at home, don't try that one.
Now they're going to reload here. No, they took the top off and maybe give him another shot. Sandy is the flame.
Talk about the Lions, man, we didn't see because we're getting an awful lot of calls from Saskatchewan.
For those people who may have missed the Lions band, they got through on us and we're unable to bring them to you, but they performed very well. And everyone along the parade route has been enjoying it. You'll see him in action during the football game if the Riders score, and I'm sure they will because they're dynamite. And Wayne is with them right now. Wayne?
Well, just a couple of serious questions for a man that's doing a job that I think has an element of danger. How did you get all these burns all over your shoulders?
It's been a little windy out here today. We're having little problems, but other than that, we're having a great time.
Is there any danger at all of what you do? I mean, why do you do what you do?
Because I'm crazy. I'm 85 cents short of $1, but I'm a rider prider, and that's why we're here.
And you think you're crazy. Okay, one more time. Get ready. Are we loaded?
Yeah, you ready?
Oh, come on, another hot dog. I'm ready for this one. Let her go.
Here we go.
Let her go, yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Dino. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Wayne has been trying to get a hot dog on that stick for eating purposes through the whole parade. He can't get it done. He keeps blowing the wiener away on it.
So much for his lunch.
The Saskatchewan fans. It's called a Rowdy Gang, and they're promoting Buffalo Days in Regina.
Well, they aren't bad at all. The Super Camp Band.
All right.
Spider-Man theme song. These guys are really revved up because, of course, with all the Saskatchewan Roughrider fans that have lined the parade route, and there are so many of them, that's what I can't get over. How many people came from Saskatchewan to cheer on their Roughriders?
This could be one of the noisiest of all Grey Cup games, and if it goes anything like the parade here, because Hamilton fans are very proud of their team too, and noisy, and like to tell you that they're good, and they are good. So tomorrow could be a battle of crowds to see who can get the noise level the highest.
And it's a sea of green and white here with the so many people taking part in the parade from Saskatchewan.
You know, that group we were watching just a moment ago, and you might see them again as they come through, is called the Intensely Vigorous College Band, and they performed at the Canada Games. There they are. They're a magnificent musical group. They can play anything, and they act in a comedic way where, well, there you can see. But even though they play comedy, their music is outstanding. Intensely Vigorous College 9 from the University of Saskatchewan in Saskatoon. Nicely dressed, I might add.
Yeah, it's not the traditional garb, is it? Nonetheless, very fashionable.
Well, that gives you an idea of that rider pride and what they're doing down below.
Well, been waiting a long time for this, haven't they?
You bet.
Of course, the last time they met the Hamilton Tiger Cats in the Grey Cup final, it wasn't quite the outcome they would have liked.
Look out. I suppose that's what they're going to do to the Cats tomorrow, but
that's one
it won't be that easy.
Getting crushed, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah. Wayne is right in the midst of the class of Saskatchewan.
Let me tell you something. You have to be on the street in amongst these incredible supporters to understand the emotion that is already in place. And it's only Saturday. This is incredible. I guarantee you, tomorrow from the stands, you will know Saskatchewan is in Toronto.
Well, Wayne is an Ottawa boy, as you know. Works out of there, is very popular. He's probably not used to this kind of enthusiasm for football. Although Ottawa in the past has shown some great enthusiasm too when they were winning all those Grey Cups, and they'll be back, I'm sure.
But Wayne has quickly switched allegiances from the Eastern Riders to the Western Riders in a
for the
hurry.
weekend.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they'll wear anything, I'm sure.
Number one in their hearts. What a time they're having.
Well, look at this. This is a sea of Rider fans.
The sign they're carrying at the head, Riders, class of the CFL. That is so true. Saskatchewan Roughriders have
Look at that sign there, Colleen.
devoted fans.
It says Red Deer Rider fans, all the way from central Alberta. So they're coming from everywhere to support here. From Watrous, Saskatchewan, Brant Haywood. Hey, Brant, our director who does so well. Known through football and hockey and rodeo. Hey, Brant, I didn't know you were that popular back there. The Shriners in behind this rowdy group are just getting ready to perform. And the Elks Club, along with the Shriners, in the background.
This particular band was formed 19 years ago and represents the Elks in the royal purple from across Canada while on parade.
You know, this is the official Elks regalia of purple and white with that purple fez, jacket, tie, and saddle socks. This is official. Quite pretty. And they're represented across the country. That band is made up of drums, cymbals, tenor bugles, and, well, actually, they have some baritones in there, too. They execute very well.
Hello, St. Marie, Ontario.
Noranda presents the Elk Drum and Bugle Band. They've been playing a repertoire of popular musical tunes such as The Saints Come Marching In, Mickey Mouse March, and Farewell to Nova Scotia.
Elks that whirled across Canada. This float is designed by Winston Piper and George Perky of Sault Ste. Marie. It's decorated, of course, in the purple and white. It's 55 feet long. It incorporates many elements of the Elks organization in its work across Canada. On the float this year are the national leaders of the Elks of Canada. Dick Hollier from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, and Doreen Kelly from Hay River in the Northwest Territories.
It's the 17th straight year, Colleen, they've had a float in the Grey Cup Parade. And last year in Ottawa, they won first prize for the Service Club floats. City of Ottawa Fire Department Band, under the direction of Paul Casagrande, bandmaster who is Ottawa Fire Department captain. And the drum major is Don Russell of the Ottawa Fire Department. He's a lieutenant. band was formed about 20 years ago. They had an initial group of 32, and since that, they more than doubled. And they've been taking part in Grey Cup parades since 1970. And they were in the Hague Parade in 1985 on behalf of Ottawa on the 40th anniversary of the liberation of Holland celebration. So that's quite an honor for them.
It is indeed.
And by the way, the Hague is the twin city to Ottawa. Colonel Boat.
Well, they are very, very good. And look, this has got to be the longest stretch limousine in the world.
I would think so. Now, how do you think they put that one together? We looked at that very carefully. Has to be a flatbed, don't you think?
I would think, yeah. Flatbed trailer all done up.
Body man redesigned it. Makes it look like a very long, sturdy Cadillac. Ottawa. You're watching Sports Weekend and our live coverage of the 1989 Grey Cup Parade from Toronto. And we're in the heart of the University of Toronto area, along with the legislative buildings. Very beautiful part of the city. And we've had a wonderful parade so far. The city of Ottawa right now is at the forefront as they parade in their elongated limousine.
That's right, and some great jazz musicians on that, too.
Yeah. The Ottawa limo has been packed with jazz players, and I wonder if Wayne usually will jump in with a group like that, and so you can find him there. Is he there?
Ready, and let's say g'day.
Oh, here he goes.
Whoa, whoa, boy, oh boy, come on out, gang. What an incredible place, what a party. Let me tell you something, for all of you that think that Ottawa is politicians and Parliament Hill, you want to see the party going on board this stretch limo. Ernie, you and Colleen, come on down. There's lots of room, bring your kids, come on.
Okay.
That sounds like fun.
We'll see you later.
Great, Wayne. Whole theme of this year's entry from Ottawa is indeed that Ottawa knows how to have fun. Well, since Wayne couldn't get his hot dog roasted, you know, maybe he wants to stop and have a pizza at the next float.
You bet. You bet. There's a giant pizza back there, 10 feet in diameter. And the float was an entry in the '88 Grey Cup and was awarded first prize in the commercial float category. They're just in behind Ottawa's limousine. And look at Wayne's still there having a ball.
Oh, Wayne won't leave that party now. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't have wanted to be the person who had to blow up all these balloons. You could do it with all of yours.
Oh, yeah. Oh, now easy.
Yeah.
Be nice.
You know.
The chefs. They're all employees from the Loeb food stores in Greater Toronto you're watching there. And behind them, the Toronto Junior Board and a presentation of a band and the Burlington Team Tour Band.
They have striking military-style uniforms on. Beautiful red tunics with gold trim and blue pants. The director is Don Allen, and drum majors are Kathy Carr, Bev McCune, Paul Burnett, Ashley Benton, and Phil Austin. They were formed back in 1947.
Well, they've been all over, haven't they? Canada, the United States, Europe, and now I understand they're planning to go to Japan and Hawaii in January of 1990. Of course, you're going to,
sounds good in January of 1990. That's right, CBC Sports will be in Auckland, New Zealand in January of 1990. You and I will be there.
Looking forward to the Commonwealth Games. Be live, and, well, not all live, but partially live from New Zealand, from Auckland, as their preparations have been completed. But here at Grey Cup time in Toronto, a beautiful parade and a wonderful day, really. They expected some rain, possible snow and slush, but it didn't materialize. Once again, Toronto weather's been pretty good. Yeah, nobody. And tomorrow, all the fans that will be in the Sky Dome will be assured of perfect conditions as Hamilton takes on the Saskatchewan Roughriders in the Grey Cup game. And want to remind you that the countdown to kickoff with Brian Williams, your host, will begin at 4 o'clock Eastern Time. And the Grey Cup on CBC will begin approximately at 5:30 in the afternoon. So they'll build it up for you, bring you the game itself in prime time, and what a day it'll be.
And who are you taking in the game, Ernie?
Well, I have to, after I watch Saskatchewan defeat Edmonton in that Western final, I don't think I could bet against them. But I do know that any time you get a Hamilton team in a Grey Cup, it's very difficult to bet against them. I've seen them win when they weren't even remotely favored, so you never know. We should point out that kickoff for the Grey Cup game is actually 6 o'clock tomorrow at Eastern Time. So with all the preliminaries, it'll be just a great day.
But start popping your popcorn around 4 o'clock Eastern and join us then for the countdown show.
We've reached the end of the 1989 Grey Cup parade, and I'm sure that Wayne Rostad has some interesting comments. Wayne?
Well, you know, when you say you've reached the end, have a look at this. Even as we speak, the street sweepers come over my shoulder. Walk with me, if you will, because I certainly don't intend to stand here too long. But, you know, seriously, when all is said and done, it's been a marvelous parade. We've had some incredible talent that has gone by. The kids and the stamina that was shown by all of the people in today's parade is just incredible. But that's what the spirit of the Grey Cup is all about. And here in Toronto, they're getting ready to do it at the Dome in a way they've never done it before, literally. And it's going to be one magnificent Grey Cup game. For those of you who can't make it, be sure to stay tuned. And tomorrow you'll catch all the excitement. And, well, the people are filtering away as quickly as we speak. And
You want that? You need this?
No. Can you disconnect it and just take that down?
Well, our thanks to Ernie, Colleen, and Wayne, and thanks to the entire crew along the parade route on a fairly nice November afternoon in Toronto, and to all those who participated in this year's Grey Cup parade, making another great celebration of national pride as we send you back to the parade as we wrap things up in downtown Toronto one last time.
Well, welcome back to our position here at the Grey Cup Parade. And Colleen, it's been really quite an interesting day. We've had a lot of fun. It's been one of the more enthusiastic parades we've attended. Don't you think so?
It has been a great parade. I'm always a little sad to see parades come to an end. I wish they could go on and on and on. It's a great way to start things for tomorrow.
And it seemed that there were more youngsters taking part, young kids who are just raising heck all the way down, but good, clean fun and enjoying the parade.
That's right. The little kids who were in the drum and bugle bands, what great patience they have to learn to play the instrument and then come out and march the whole parade route. They did a wonderful job.
How'd you compare this to the others?
I liked last year's a lot. They just seem to get better. I know this is a cliche, isn't it? But it seems to get bigger and better every year. And of course, the nice thing about the Grey Cup parade is so often they come to the same ones, you know, year after year. Such a tradition.
In 1982 was the last Grey Cup parade. This one certainly matched that. Now we look forward to the Grey Cup game tomorrow and countdown that starts at 4 in the afternoon. Now let's go back to Sports Weekend Control.
Thank you once again, Ernie, and lots more to come. Just ahead, we'll take you to Toronto's Sky Dome for a report from Brian Williams on the big game. That when Sports Weekend returns.
Still ahead on Sport.
And welcome back to Sports Weekend on this Grey Cup Saturday as we ready ourselves for the 77th Grey Cup game tomorrow. And with the report from the site of that game, let's go to Brian Williams at Sky Dome.
Thank you, Ken. Good afternoon, everyone. 5:30 is our game time coverage tomorrow. 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific is the time for our countdown show, as the Saskatchewan Roughriders will take on the Hamilton Ticats here in the Sky Dome. It is only the second time they've ever met in the Grey Cup. The last time they met was 1972, Hamilton winning by a score of 13-10 at home at Iverwind Stadium. Ian Sutter with a winning field goal. Later this afternoon, we'll talk with the starting quarterbacks from that game. Chuck Ely for Hamilton, Ron Lancaster for Saskatchewan. Scott Oak is here in the Dome with me this afternoon. He will talk with many of the players from the 1989 Rough Rider and Tiger Cat teams. Plus, we have some interesting features for you as we count it down to the 1989 Grey Cup. As we begin from the Sky Dome here this afternoon, we'll check with Scott and some of the players in the field in just a minute. Let's have a look at some of the festivities from this week here in Toronto. And the award winners were announced last night here in Toronto. No surprise, Edmonton's Tracy Ham, Hamilton's Rocky DiPietro, and the former Michigan State Toronto Argonaut, now Edmonton Eskimo, Danny Bass. Also the other two winners here in Toronto last night, the 1989 CFL Award winners. Well, as we're live from the Sky Dome on this Saturday afternoon, as promised, Scott Oak, who is a member of our regular CFL crew, is standing by on the field. In fact, right now, let's check in with Scott Oak and two of the award winners from last night. Scott?
Grey Cup week has already been a success in one respect for a couple of members of the Hamilton Ticats. Stefan Jordan was named the outstanding rookie last night in the CFL Awards, and Rocky DiPietro for the second time named the outstanding Canadian. Stefan, The task at hand now is to get your focus back on the game tomorrow. Can you do it?
Oh, yeah. It's been a long week for us, both, the whole team, really. But for the nominees, trying to go through the dinners and everything. But now we're able to concentrate on football. This is what we're here to do.
And to focus on the game tomorrow, what about the Saskatchewan passing attack? You'll have to shut down players like Don Narcisse.
Oh, yeah. Narcisse, Fairholm, and Elgard, you know, 3 excellent receivers. We have a game plan for them. You know, we know they're there. We recognize them as respectable athletes, and we're going to treat it just that.
Now, Rocky, I recall so very well this year, as do you, when you set the all-time pass receiving record at Ivor Stadium. The game was stopped. I went onto the field, and we conducted a brief ceremony. I asked you a question for all the fans to hear. I said, Rocky DiPietro, the moment is yours. No question, make your statement. And you said, thank you very much. And I said, Rocky, help me. This is network TV. I know you have more to say today.
Yeah, you kind of caught me off guard there, Scott. I didn't have anything planned for the moment, and I did a lot of talking afterwards, though. And it was a great day for me. They really did it up well, I think, in Hamilton. I was very proud of what I've done, and I was proud to have my parents there. I think they really enjoyed it. It was really a thrill for them and my wife as well.
And I guess we could say that the award last night was a logical conclusion, but I suppose not the conclusion, because you've got to win the Cup tomorrow to make it a perfect season.
That's right, and I'm really trying not to dwell on it right now, and trying to put it in the back of my mind. And if we win tomorrow night, I think, you know, the culmination of the whole year will be something I'll remember, you know, for a long time, and I'll give it a while to sink in.
All right, congratulations to both of you on your award wins, and best of luck in the Grey Cup game.
Thanks a lot.
All right, Scott, DiPietro, and Jordan and the Ticats have 2 wins over Saskatchewan this year. Saskatchewan, of course, comes off that big win last Sunday over the Edmonton Eskimos. You talk about rider pride. Saskatchewan fans have taken over this city. They have Maple Leaf Gardens for a large pep rally that will be attended by the Premier, Grant Devine, tomorrow morning at about 11 o'clock. Still to come here this afternoon, we'll talk with many of the Rough Rider players and coaches. Don Matthews, the new coach of the Argonauts. Ken, right now, back to you at Sports Weekend Control.